All right, I'm sitting here with the man of the people,
Oh, Jesus.
Sean Davidson. Dude, I'm serious. I don't fuck around. I'm telling you, like, one thing I like about you is that you appreciate the small, medium-sized, like, recycler.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
you and I have had this conversation before.
Yep.
So
Cheers, man. Thanks
Cheers.
for having me. Yeah.
we're able to sneak you in. We were supposed to do this like 2 hours ago,
Yeah. Sorry about that. It's just been. It's
but we
been
both
manic.
want to walk and see the equipment.
Yep.
We want to see the vendors.
Like that's an area that I really don't know much about. So for me, it's quite an education looking at the equipment, seeing it in action.
Yeah.
Obviously I've seen it at so many yards,
At
but
the
like
yards.
being able to ask them questions about certain things and how they work.
When you can
and
actually
things.
get up close and
Yeah.
actually see, as long as you're being safe and you're not like,
Yeah. But also for me, from my perspective, also trying to understand, where's the innovation, right? Like what's the
Yeah.
next step, and that was quite fascinating here, right? Like I love what they've put together here, such a unique expo, right? So to be able to ask an equipment guy, what does innovation look like in your industry,
Yeah.
right? And so this thing is state of the art. Okay, why? You know what I mean? Like, so that's always fascinating. And then obviously like the hydrogen cutting systems, that's amazing.
I'm
You know what I mean? Like,
I'm super curious. So that's what I'm gonna spend my day tomorrow. I'm gonna sit down with Powell and just kind of like pick his brain. And I'm just want to see hear the advantages, see the advantages that they're kind of speaking of, and see if there truly is something there for the rest of the industry.
It's phenomenal what they've done. And again, for me, the thing I was telling them, the thing I love the most is it's something so unique that can be applied into so many industries, and it's come from a scrap guy.
Yeah.
I love that. Like that's the thing that makes me the happiest.
Exactly.
But anyway, yeah.
It's one thing about our industry is that people here like they're trying, they're doing, like they're out there every day, like, and I think that's to speak to this conference, I feel like it's not as big as a big Israel, like the national show or whatever.
I mean, but it's still fairly big.
But they got a
800
good
people,
turnout.
and
I feel like they put on a hell of a show for the first one.
Yeah.
And hats off to Jim Keefe and the Recycling Today staff. And I mean,
For sure.
they just.
I mean, and so much effort goes into this, and look at it. It's gone seamlessly. It's.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't be able to tell that this is someone's first time doing this. And the crowd is great. A lot of operators here, a lot of equipment people, and I mean, look at this floor today, right? Like, you're set up doing this, right?
Yeah.
You've got 2 new software companies that are exhibiting. So there's innovation coming through the tech side. Obviously, we're doing what we do. And then you've got like people like HCS and like some of the guys on the car recycling side that are showing new innovations in their equipment. I mean,
exactly.
When do you see? I mean, I can't remember the last time I've seen a floor like this that had like so much innovation and yet in what we consider to be a very traditional industry. So
are you still on your
awesome.
guys' end? Are you guys still focused on the small to medium sized?
That's
Are you guys like still? I mean, 'cause the last time we talked, like you were like, man, this is what drives me to do what
absolutely.
I do.
I mean, like,
is to make price points that people can afford, but also like open up because I think the real way you get people to buy into what you're doing is you give them more value than you take, right?
Absolutely.
And
I think like
giving value.
Yeah, when and if you're providing value, I firmly believe that the business comes, right? And we've built Davis on the idea that we will offer the best data, so the most accurate data with the best technology, right, at the best price. So we are absolutely like just we're all about small and medium. Obviously the benefits for the larger companies anyway come, right, because everyone wants access to to good data and good information, right, and market analysis. But so we're rolling out, like we will roll out recycled paper this month, and then plastics and your electronic scrap grades, and we'll do a little bit of glass and rubber, all of the stuff that goes into a MRF stream basically, so that any kind of material that a yard handles, we've got a data point that they can use, right, for their contracting and with price benchmarking, whatever, right, and it's at no additional cost.
Yeah.
So the idea is that we're making the investments to do that, right, because we're playing a long-term vision. We want to go for scale, and we're happy to support it. And I feel like when a solution like that's available to the industry and it can help the industry make better decisions, it's a better industry, if that makes sense, right? I don't want to sound like very like, too philosophical with it, but it's true, right? Like if our industry has yards that are doing well, right, and robust, that just encourages, if their margins are improving, guess what, they're going to keep reinvesting in the industry, right?
Yeah.
So our recycling rates go up and the industry is just more robust, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like making, you know, not our industry, but, you know, people outside the industry love using the, you know, those buzzwords, ESG and all that shit.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that. It's none of our decks because we're already in that industry, you know,
well, we are like the ESG industry. People don't
right.
like
you know, but that's exactly my point. So it drives me crazy. But you know, the point is like, so if we can contribute to that engine and make that engine sustainable, right? Like then we're doing our part in, you know, in this industry, right? That 100%. I love so much. So you know, that's.
So tell me, like, it's like when you talk about innovation, I know you're a pretty entrepreneurial guy. Like, do you have stuff that you're like that's coming down the line that you're super excited about? That you like.
We have a lot. We have a lot going on. So
is it more on the tech side? Is it more? I mean, that's kind of your wheelhouse, right?
Yeah, so tech and data, so like, so the data side is obviously Davis Index, right? So, you know, market analysis, news, data, and tech. And so on the Davis Index side, we're rolling out a platform called TradeHooks. And TradeHooks will allow, it's only for our subscribers, obviously, but it'll allow our subscribers to tell each other, hey, I have this material that I want to buy, I have this material I want to sell.
Yeah.
You know, and it's free. Like, you don't transact on the platform, but like, so if you like what someone's telling you, then you can, like, you know, chat with them on the platform itself, or you can pick up the phone and call them on a number they've given you, right?
Yeah.
So we're facilitating that communication, you know, as opposed to, for example, someone reaching out to you on LinkedIn or me on LinkedIn saying, hey, by the way, I've got this material and I'm on a spot, you know, do you know how I can go to?
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, listen, the community is already built. Why don't you all interact with each other, right? So we've got that. It's actually in testing right now. We're also rolling out a massive data analytics piece. So we've spent 2 years cleaning and structuring data that comes out, like import-export data, but also like, you know, for example, the weekly steel output data comes out in a press release, you know, aluminum data, a lot of it comes out in press releases. So we've actually structured it, we've written technology around it, and we've organized it in a way that now you can bring it into dashboards, and you can take like a price series and chart it with like export volumes or import volumes and create your own dashboards. It's built, we've licensed some technology from a Californian tech company, and you will be able to use that data or put your own data in to build your own price forecasting if you wanted to do that.
Yeah.
We're not going to do forecasting for you, but so that's rolling out in like at the end of this month. And again, it's all included in that $1,000 you pay for Davis, right? So there's no additional charge for it, right?
Yeah.
That's the main thing, right? So
you're building on your existing
because we want to keep adding
platform.
value to like, hey, listen, you know what? Yes, this data is important to you, right, in your decision making, and we'll structure it for you, and we're happy for you to. We want to provide you with the tools to help you, you know, make better decisions, basically, right? So you can use our data, but also all the outside, and there's 250 data origins that we've cleaned and structured, and now we've built the tech to like, so every time they update it, we can bring it in, and you know.
Yeah. So is that a way just to get us all like sucked in, and then you're going to jack the price on us?
Never, man. Like, I think, look, I mean, at the end of the day, look, I mean, you know, see, to be perfectly honest, right, at the end of the day, if it's a viable business, it's good, right? So
100%.
You know,
People,
we know what our marks
pay.
are, right?
Yeah.
We know what our marks are, so we know like, hey, listen, you know, if we're at X number of users, I'm happy, right? So let's say that we never hit that number, for example, hypothetically, right? Like you go into worst case scenarios and you go, oh, you know what, we've put in all this investment, we've built this amazing platform, and we can't, for whatever reason, get to that number, right? And maybe there's a problem on our sales side, you know, product, whatever. You keep working on those solutions. But let's assume that everything is equal, and you go, okay, fine, look, we've tapped out, and we go, okay, what can we do? So maybe at that point you go, okay, fine, look, the data side, right? Like, you know, not a lot of people are using it, only a few people are using it. So let's do one thing, let's charge them a little bit for it. You know, I don't think we'll come to that, to be very honest, but in an ideal world, if I could make price data available for free, right, and build revenue models around supply demand, for example, data, I would love to do that, you know, so we'll see where it goes, right? Like, but we're definitely not on the journey of like, hey, you know, we're at $1,000 today and we're going to be at $3,000 at the end of 3 years. That will just never happen.
Are you enjoying what you're doing?
I love what I'm doing. So, you know, and then the other thing is over the last year I've made some investments on the technology side. So I've put together a fund, and I bought a company in France last year, which is an ERP for trading businesses.
Okay.
Because there's no real modern technology platform for trading. So it goes and sits on top of any yard software, you know, and we've implemented it at multiple, like, I mean, I think right now Jules is already in like maybe 400 locations, you know, so it's you know, we're still in stealth mode.
Yeah.
But that's really going well. We've also invested. I bought a company in England, which is a CRM technology company, and the idea is that so all these solutions are basically for the recycling industry, right? So I'm buying them, and now we also built our own called Linker, which is an internal communications app for people that buy and sell a lot of material. So it just organizes threaded conversations. I have it on my phone. We're testing it right now, and the idea is wherever there are gaps in our industry where there is no proper solution, we're either building it or we're acquiring companies that have built technology very close to it, and then we're helping them build the right solution. So they go into yards that we have relationships with, go and see what they're using, and that's how they've been kitting it out, right? And we're going to be doing something very soon with carbon emissions. This is all through Niteco.
Yeah.
So it's been great, and we're also doing something with freight. We're trying to create a singular freight platform for freight management and booking for your containers, for your trucks, and all that.
that stuff.
So we're so there's a lot going on, man. There's a lot going on.
That's why I appreciate you, man, because you are like me. Like if you're not doing something, you're like, oh.
Yeah, I feel like
you got it in you.
When one of the times we spoke a long time ago, you remember I was telling you our industry has been neglected for too long by good solutions, and especially on the technology side, because if someone wants to go and make QuickBooks, right? I want to go and make a software that is an accounting software that hundreds, thousands of companies can use, and I'm $1 billion company, right?
Yeah.
And that's their model, right? So they look at our industry and they go, oh, it's too small, right? So if you look at some of the existing solutions in our industry on the tech side, they're prohibitively expensive, right? Because they kind of figure, oh, we still want to be that big, but it's within a smaller base, so how do I get there, right?
Yeah.
But to a point where today, a lot of this stuff, so a lot of the good solutions don't exist, and some of the, the band-aid solutions kind of, are just I can't understand that, and they're not even on cloud servers, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that's happening there that that we want to go in and solve, and I'm actively investing and looking at investing in companies that are bringing this kind of innovation, right? So people that are working with sorting systems and bringing some machine learning and AI there. We're evaluating, we're constantly evaluating other people that are bringing in new ideas into the industry, right?
Yeah.
That help our people, our yards, small and medium, that's where I want to live and breathe, and I'll keep doing it till I go broke, or will one of them, I don't know, we'll
I know
see.
that feeling. I know that feeling.
So, and honestly, even and with Niteco, look, I mean, with these acquisitions that I've made and some of the investments, more 96.5% is all my capital.
Yeah.
So there's very little money that has actually been raised from very little.
You're putting your money back in and trying to make.
Yeah, so it's not even so basically what I did is I
build
exited my
company.
investments in startups that were in other industries last year, and I said, now I'm just going to put everything in our industry, right?
Yeah.
So I had done a piece of that to fund Davis, and then last year I just made the call no, let's just put it all into recycling, and genuinely the goal here is to solve problems, and if I make a little bit of money, to pay my bills and live in my little 2-bedroom apartment in Toronto, I'm more than happy.
Then you're happy.
I'm not chasing some big goal. I don't really care about that stuff, So
I love it, man. And that's why you're a man. That's why when I introduced you as a man of the people, I wasn't bullshitting.
I don't know. But how are you doing, man? Tell me about how you
guys
are
doing. I'm doing good.
Business. What are you excited about in your world?
We are right now working on really going hard at the tire recycling side of our business.
Oh, really?
So we're super excited about that. We're putting together this recycled media. We're going to stand up our own media company.
Very
because
cool.
That's just tailored for recycling companies.
Okay.
Because we understand the message that we're trying to promote, and you don't have to go and basically find a media company, explain to them what you do every day. Because you already know, right?
Right. Oh, so you're going to build the material that they can go and use.
We have the people in house, we have Sky and Marissa and Nick, and these people have been in our industry and been around us for long enough, and they've stood up a Scrap Life. They've helped us stand up, Recycled Idaho, and these other podcasts and these other brands.
Very cool.
And so we're basically like, hey, we've got some answers for you, some solutions for you. And so we're excited about that. I'm just excited about the industry as a whole and being able to see these small, medium-sized businesses connect.
But when you do things
co-op each other.
When you do things like this, when you say, okay, fine, look, we're going to build a media asset, right, for sort of mass media communication tools, right? do you build that from the notion that, hey, listen, you know what, I see this as a gap, or do you look at it as like, oh, we can also monetize it, right?
I look at it as both.
Okay.
I look at it as, if you can't monetize it, then you can't pay the bills. So you have to monetize it to a certain extent. But I'm also such a long-term horizon thinker that I don't have to monetize it today.
Right.
I just have to at some point be
Well,
able
yeah,
to
I mean,
pay
with
the
a lot of
bills.
ventures, you're burning, for a while.
Yeah, you have to be able to. But what I also see is a gap in the recycling industry of where, there's great companies like say GIE Media, right? Like the people that have recycling today and these other brands, but what they don't do is they don't focus on, enabling somebody to take the social media platforms that are available to them and help promote their business, right? Like they do it their own way, and it's been good and it's worked for a lot of years.
Yeah.
But like what you've done, what I'm doing, like ultimately my goal is to help these small, medium-sized businesses stand up against these larger corporations and be like, hey, we exist. Not only do we exist, but we're damn good at what we do.
Yeah.
Like we can handle your material. Here's our location. Here's our people. You can and basically allow them the opportunity to get more swings of the bat, right?
Very cool.
Whether it's bids, quotes,
So
customers.
so you go in and you say, hey, basis our experience, this is what success looks like when you're contacting X, Y, and Z, and
Based on my experience,
right? A small or medium-sized company can come to you and say, hey, I want to go and try and bid for this project or whatever. Is that what you're saying? Like you can help
what
them
I'm
with
saying
some of
is
that communication?
based on our experience, is being a company based out of Idaho.
Yeah.
When you think of recycling in Idaho, I want you to think of us.
Right.
So I want to find that company in every single state, and in these 47 countries we have that we've kind of dialed in and say, when people think of
47 states or countries.
47 countries that
we have 47 countries?
We've done 47 countries and 50 states.
That's amazing.
So our goal is to say, hey, I'm the premier recycler in Texas.
All right.
Whether you have to communicate with the state of Texas.
That's
and
a
the
pretty
people
big
of
state,
Texas,
though, right? Like,
yeah.
You probably have multiple in that.
Yeah, but I only want one.
Oh,
I want
okay.
somebody to stand up and say, and I want it to be a small or medium-sized business that says, I want to be Recycle Texas. When you think of recycling in Texas, I want you to think of me.
Okay.
And I'm willing to put myself out there and do the podcast and do all that, like as this company owner,
right.
and build it out, right?
So
But
you would help
has to
them
be-
build
I'm gonna
like
help
the
you do
branding
that, right?
and marketing assets for like a mass communication.
Just like we've done with Idaho,
Right, okay.
I want to help people do that for their state or their country, and
Very
say,
cool, man.
be the guy, be the gal, own your state.
Wow, 47 countries.
Yeah,
That's
we got them
incredible.
right over there behind you.
Oh,
Belgium, Austria.
so
Germany,
there's a company
France,
in Belgium that is using that.
that
And
we're gonna basically like take our platform that we've built and basically give them the tools, give them the podcast tools, give them the marketing tools that we've already made all the mistakes. Right. We've already. Just like how you built Davis, right?
Right.
You already knew, having come from an industry that did a similar type platform,
Right.
You knew all the pitfalls
Yeah.
and all where you could basically say, hey,
improve things.
let me show you a better way to do it.
Right.
That's the same thing that we're going to do with Recycled Media. Say, hey,
Brilliant.
you in Austria, you have a recycling company. Let's make you Recycled Austria, and you put yourself out there. You're gonna have to do the work. I can't do the
Right.
podcast
We'll
for
give
you.
you, like, the
I can't do all the
template and
BS for you.
Right.
You're gonna have to do that.
Nice, man.
But we'll give you all the tools to do it.
Congrats, I like that.
So
awesome.
that's the goal. So man of the people. We're chasing you.
I mean,
down.
you're in 47 countries, so I don't know what man of the people anymore. That's probably you, right?
So that's what I'm excited about, man. We have our converter recycling business. I mean, that.
Well, what about like your yard, right? Like at your different, you have 7 yards, right? Do your people at the yard, right? Your ops people and your sales people, right? And your commercial teams, do they come to you and say, listen, all these other things that you're doing, right, are distractions, and they're taking you away from us. It's like instead of having 3 children, you have 7 children, and all of them want equal attention, and one child feels like they're not getting enough. Are you facing that?
No, because and I can't say for a fact, but ultimately the way I've done it is by us doing a Scrap Life and building our branding media company is we're helping build our business at the same time, right? We hire great people. We allow them to lead from the front. We allow them to run their business, run their yard, run their facility, and I just say, hey, I work for you. Like, I'm out here doing this every day because I'm trying to feed you business.
Right. Okay.
Right? Like,
That's great. So
on
it
the
is
converter
driving that.
side,
It is driving
like
that
I'm
growth.
trying to drive converters, because if we make money buying and selling converters, and we make money buying and selling and processing tires,
Yeah.
then that allows us money to buy equipment,
Right.
and allows us money. And I think ultimately you have to lead by example. So like, if I was living in some zillion-dollar house and I drove a Ferrari to work and I showed up 3 days a week and I didn't do, and I never put my boots on and went out and
Yeah.
did it, then yeah, I would be probably, people would be like, this is bullshit, right?
I'll also
But-
tell you one thing. If you ever do that, I'll stop talking to you.
But
I'm fucking
ultimately,
dead
like,
serious, man.
because I love what I do and I love like all the people I do it, like I can show up and like be like, hey, what can we do to build a better? What can we
Yeah.
do to make a better business?
And there's so
what
much
do
to
you
be
need?
done, right? There's so much to be done, right? And I think,
Yeah.
like, it's interesting because, like, most yard operators, right, like, there's so much going on just at that yard level, right? Like, if I've got a
Yes.
single yard, I've got multiple yards, and the daily challenges that you face, right? Like, you don't really get enough time to take a step back and say, okay, fine, look, what can I build for our industry for the future, like innovation, whether it's, whatever, at an operational level, systems, processes, whatever, right? A lot of companies do it internally to improve process, but you know what I mean, like,
Yeah.
to create, like, the stream, I guess, and when our industry has more people, and there has been a lot of innovation, obviously, especially on the equipment side, but what I mean is, like, when more people from our industry take a step back and start innovating,
Yep.
that's when you see some really good solutions come out, right? And a lot of solutions that can be applied to other industries too, right?
100%.
So and it's quite exciting to see more, of that now than
Yep.
there has ever been, So
And
I'm rooting for you guys to succeed,
And
just
likewise,
like,
and that's why, and then that's why we're both here, right?
Yeah, well, we're trying, right?
Cheers.
Everyone's got to work.
And I like it. That's a good end spot. Like, we're both here to just try and be successful and cheer other people on to be
Absolutely.
successful, and support our friends and say, hey, like, we want you to be successful. It's abundant.
Right. And
Go
if
get
you
yours.
can contribute, right? A lot of times, like, you'll see a lot of people, and for a long time, people have done it this way. They're like, oh, I think I can help you. You've got this thing to move, and I know this person might be interested in it, and then I try to take a cut, right?
Yeah.
And when I say I am, like, that's generally how a person has thought about it. Like, oh, this is an opportunity. I can connect these two people, and I'm gonna. Now, if that's that person's business, that's fine. That's different, right? But
Yeah.
like, I look at it completely different. I've done this my entire life, right? Like, if I know that you have something that this person wants or vice versa, I'll connect y'all, and I want y'all to succeed, and I will never ask for anything in the middle, right?
Yeah.
I don't want it because I want y'all to succeed, because my philosophy is, look, as long as y'all are doing well, at some point, I want one of my companies to be able to hit you with a product that you're going to look at and go, I like this, it solves a problem for me, it's adding value, it's helping me with my margin, right? And and you go, oh yeah, also, by the way, this is one of Sean's companies, he's helped us out in the past, you built some goodwill, and I want to grow it that way, and that's what I've invested in, for the last 14 years, and and I think that when you're trying to help people and you actually help them without a transactional interest in everything you do,
Yeah.
you build. You're actually helping build a better industry, basically. That's.
The moral of the story: what goes around comes around.
Yeah, I'm still waiting.
All right, sir. Thank you for
Cheers,
coming.
man.
I
Thank you for having
appreciate
me.
you.
Yeah. Cheers.
Yep. Cheers.
You done
man.
with that? I'm almost done with mine.
Yeah, I'm good.
Bottoms
Almost.
up.